Hey guys, so we're going to add in our final bit of Learning Target 11-1, which is discussing major air pollution problems, and this time we're going to focus in on indoor air pollution. Alright, so the reading to accompany this lecture is still Chapter 19, Section 19.4, pages 613 through 616. All right, so an important kind of fact to give us a frame of reference as to why indoor air pollution is a problem. There are estimated 3.5 million deaths per year, right? It's close to 10,000 deaths per day due to indoor air pollution, and about 77% of those actually occur in the developing world. And a big reason for that is in the developing world, nearly 3 billion people, I think, worldwide still cook using wood or charcoal or coal or other fuel types inside in poorly ventilated areas, and that exposes them to dangerous levels of particulate pollution. Now, keep in mind, you guys have your document that I had you guys create, the different kind of major pollution types and their health-related issues. Particulate pollution is a major respiratory irritant and can lead to some really chronic lung damage and breathing issues. Okay? Now, bringing this closer to home, though. Right? Most of us are not cooking indoors on wood stoves or charcoal here in the U.S., right? But we are exposed to all kinds of other types of air pollutants. A lot of them come from just the chemical manufacturing of stuffing for your couch or your bed, or dyes and stuff in your pillowcases and upholstery, your carpet, residues and volatile organic compounds from adhesives and glue for your flooring or countertops, right? Cleaning solvents, right? All these things are just a part of our building materials in our everyday life. They do release in various quantities pollutants, right, that might be harmful to us in one or more ways, right? The textbook has a pretty cool little diagram or figure there that kind of lists different potential sources of air pollutants, right? And interestingly, air fresheners that we use to kind of freshen the smell of the air are themselves sometimes harmful. Kind of depends on what type. Now, here's some important facts I want you guys to know. Fact number one is that the levels of air pollution inside your home under normal atmospheric conditions are 2 to 5 times higher than outside. Now, this would be not true in wildfire season, right? During wildfire season, we're probably better off indoors, and also during a thermal inversion, right? Now, remembering that these times are when the outdoor air pollution tends to be particularly bad or much higher than normal. It's during wildfire season and thermal inversions, but normal atmospheric conditions, pollution levels inside your home are 2 to 5 times higher, and in some cases, up to 100 times higher. Now, if you're in traffic and you are in your vehicle, the levels of pollution inside the car are often up to 18 times higher than they are outside, right? So, and fact number 3, the reason these two things are really such a concern nowadays is that people in the U.S. are spending upwards of 70% of their time inside buildings or inside a vehicle, right? Increasing that exposure to those heightened levels of air pollution. Okay? Now, another important air pollutant that's actually naturally occurring and only really a concern in certain circumstances is radon. Now, radon is a clear, colorless, odorless gas. So if it was in your home right now, you would not know it's there. All right, but it's radioactive, and it's produced by the natural decay of uranium-238. Now, uranium-238 is kind of everywhere in really small trace amounts, right? So basically, every airspace we have around is going to have some trace amounts of radon in it because there's trace amounts of uranium decaying into radon. Now, where it tends to accumulate is in low-lying, right? Because radon is an exceptionally dense gas, so it tends to sink in air, right, to our low-lying areas, all right? But also only if those low-lying areas are poorly ventilated. So, for example, if you have a basement with no form of air circulation, right? So if you have no ductwork that's pumping or circulating air around your house, or you keep your windows closed in basements all the time, right? That can allow that radon to accumulate, right? And the reason radon is particularly problematic is because it gets into your lungs. It being a gas, right? We breathe it in along with the other gases in our surrounding atmosphere, all right? And radon itself actually is radioactive and decays into what's called polonium-210. Now, so radon, if we breathe it in, right, if it stays a gas, we also breathe it out. Now, polonium is actually a solid. So if a decay were to occur in your lungs, for example, of radon, it would decay into a solid polonium-210 and would no longer be able to leave your lungs, right? At which point it could stay in your lungs and continue to cause ionizing damage to your lung tissue and lead to things like lung cancer. Now, one of the things I want to point out is if you have a bedroom in the basement, you should not be freaking out right now for a couple reasons. One of them is we're talking decades and decades of exposure. And two, you probably have some form of air circulation in your basement, right? And actually three, here in Walla Walla, it's not as big of an issue because we don't have a lot of naturally occurring uranium around here. So let me just show you this graphic really fast. So here in Walla Walla, we would be considered medium or variable amounts of exposure to radiation from radon, right? So we're not super high levels of radon around here in the first place, right? Likewise, you guys are young, so you're not going to, hopefully aren't going to be spending decades of your lifetimes in your parents' basement, right? And three, right, all you got to do to manage this is get some fans going, open your windows when the weather permits, and that'll help cycle that radon out of your basement, and you'll be fine anyways. Okay? So this is going to be a shorty today, just to get us back in the swing of things. All right? But enjoy.